Hi guys, my name is Aditya
Hi, my name is Japneet.
and today we'll be discussing what is probability. So probability is a concept that measures that an event in future is likely to happen. The probability can always be from 0 to 1. It cannot exceed 1 or cannot go below 0. So if the probability is towards 1, like it's more towards 1, that event is likely to happen, and if the probability is towards 0, that event is not likely to happen. So there are three terms associated with the probability. They are experiment, outcomes, and events. So we have three types of probabilities. One is classical probability, the second is empirical probability, and the third is subjective probability. So now Japneet will let you know what classical probability is.
Hi, so the classical probability is the theory where every experiment has a likely equal outcome. So today I have an example for this one. So I have two caps. One of them is for equal smart water and the other one is for Coca-Cola. So if I hide both of these and let Aditya choose one of them, so if he chooses any one of them, so if he chooses the right one and he gets the smart water, so the probability itself says, so it's 1/2. So there is one possible outcome. So the probability is 0.5. So now I would like to tell you some pros and cons for classical probability. So it is the most simplest way of in all the probabilities. It is less time consuming. These are the advantages, and the disadvantages on the other side are that if in an experiment there are not equal outcomes, then this type of probability cannot be used.
Hello everyone, my name is Navpreet and now I'm going to explain empirical probability. Empirical probability is the number of times an event has occurred as proportion of number of observations. Empirical probability is also known as relative frequency probability or experimental probability. To understand this concept, we have an example here. So the number of students in Sheridan College is 130, out of which 60 are Indians, 20 are French, and 50 are Chinese. So if we were to choose one student from the number of students, that is 130, what are the chances that we'll get Indian student? So it is going to be 60 upon 130, that is 0.46. Since we find the frequency of all the students and divide them into different groups, this is the reason it is also called relative frequency probability. Now, in daily life, there are very many other institutions who use empirical probability. Who are they? The best example of this could be insurance companies. You often find that the insurance for young drivers is very high and for the old drivers is very low. How the insurance companies find out that which age group is more dangerous to drive? So what they do is, out of all the population, they divide them into different age group and see how many accident has occurred because of a certain age group. And this has been found that because of the young drivers who are between the age of 20 to 25, they are the ones who are the reasons behind the more accidents. This is why the insurance is really high here. And the age group between 50 to 55 is less and less prone to accidents. That's why the insurance rates is really low. So this is where empirical probability is used. Now, empirical probability is not really easy to use. There are many different pros and cons to it. One pro is that the value of probability in empirical probability is very accurate. It's more inclined towards 1. Also, when we divide the population into different frequencies and different sets, we can more accurately target a certain group and certain population of a certain area. Another con is that it is very, very much time consuming. For example, in classical probability, we just take the whole population and divide by the favorable outcomes. But in empirical, we first have to divide it into different groups, just like the insurance companies do, and they find like which group is more prone to accidents. Same way, we have to make subcategories. In general way, we can say subcategories, and then we choose like what are the chances of one category to be chosen when we are finding the empirical probability. Another example also of empirical probability could be, in simple way, males or females. For example, if we have 50 employees, out of which 15 are men and 35 are women. What is the chance that a woman will be selected for manager's post? The answer will be 35 upon 50. So this is how we find the empirical probability. Once we understand the concept of empirical probability, this is the most important assumption that we use in empirical probability, and that is the law of large numbers. What this law states is the larger the population is, the better or the most accurate probability we will get. For example, if we consider just the area of Mississauga, and when we divide them into 3 different areas of north, south and west, the chances are, if we calculate the probability of just the north side, we may get inaccurate probability. But when we calculate the probability of the whole Mississauga area, we'll get the more accurate probability, because here we are targeting more people from all different sides.
Okay guys, so now I'm going to discuss what subjective probability is. So subjective probability is a concept where the likelihood of an event depending on the information available. So if you have any past information, we can make estimates, gut feelings, and on intuition base, this probability can be calculated. So for example, chances of a company's sales declining by 10%. So the subjective probability is that we estimated that 10% the sales are declining by 10%. So this is what subjective probability here is. This is just an estimate. This may be based on intuition. This may be based on gut feeling. So the assumption here are that these are just predictions and these are not real or accurate estimates. And also any external data or any external information may affect the result of this probability. Also we have to go in deep, we have the objective probability, which is contradictory to subjective probability. So in objective probability, we have the probability is calculated based on proper research and past history and data. So for example, if we take our example which we took for the declining 10% sales, for objective probability, it can be depending on general managers leaving, the management changing. These are the reasons why there is a decline. So we have a proper justification why the 10% decline in sales is happening. So this is known as objective probability. So this type of probability, that is subjective probability, can be used in fields where you need estimation, speculation. So something like stock markets, weather, farming and agriculture industry. So these are the examples where we can use the subjective probability.